Awesome. Thank you, Lola. What's up, guys? How are we doing today? How's everybody's Thursday going? I hope it's going great. Man, we've had a big week. We've had a big week. We had an amazing event for those of y'all that were there in Destin. For those of you who weren't, you're going to hear a lot of talk about it, and you're going to hear a lot of talk about the next one because businesses were changed this past weekend. Lives were changed and businesses were changed. It was the coolest thing, and so we were honored to be a part. What I want to talk to you about today is I want to do a short training and then we'll open it up for some Q&A as well if we have some Q&A. But I want to do a short training on the word hungry. Hungry, okay? Because here's what I believe. I believe in this business and in life in general, in order to get what you want out of life, in order to get the desires of your heart, you got to be hungry. It takes a special kind of drive and hunger inside of you in order to go out and actually attain the success that you want. So, hungry, Hungry, is an acronym for a few things that I've written down that I want to share with you. Okay. So, if you're taking notes, you can write down at least the title of what this means of each one. I'm sorry, let me mute some people here. There we go. Perfect. All right. Hungry, H, number one, heart centered. H stands for heart centered. Every dream, listen to me, every dream must be a heart centered obsession that you're driven to achieve or acquire. You believe in your mind, okay, but you know in your heart. It's a big difference to believe something in your mind as compared to knowing it in your heart. Hungry people operate from their hearts. Hungry people never get in their minds. They always operate from their hearts. And my favorite little quote on this is Todd Duncan. Todd Duncan, a world-renowned trainer, says, "You've got to turn down the promotion and you've got to turn up the emotion." Guys, no one cares how much you're promoting this device or this company if you're not emotional about it, if you're not passionate about it. People join people and people join conviction. Conviction, right? You've got to be convicted of what you're doing and the mission that you're on. That's what people join. They're going to join you long before they ever join this business. So you better have a heart-centered obsession and you better have a lot of passion behind it. How did Joe and I recruit so many people so early on when we joined this business? Passion. We were heart-centered. We were focused. We knew in our heart what we were going to do. We knew in our heart what this company could do, and it bled out of us. Because people can always read your heart. Always. And you can always tell if somebody's in their head or if they're in their heart. All right, that's number one. Heart centered. That's the H. All right, number two is the U in Hungary. It stands for unshakable faith. Unshakable faith. Going after your dreams, going after this business requires you to have an unshakable faith. There's no way around it. It doesn't really matter. Think about this. It doesn't really matter on this journey or in life what happens to you as much as it matters what happens in you. Are you with me? Like inside of you, the faith that you have inside of you that you're going to have the success you're looking for and get the dreams that you're after, that's what matters. It matters what happens in you. Have you ever met those people? Because, you know, there's a lot of people that say they're living a faith-inspired life, but when you really get down to it, you really believe they don't even have the faith in themselves and in their dreams to actually go out and achieve it. You can sense that, right? It becomes obvious. Now, here's what I believe. I believe God's in control, and I believe that the desires of your heart are from Him. Therefore, I believe you need to chase them with everything you've got. With everything that you've got. Guys, we got to learn to take the life that we've lived and the things of our past and use it for us to benefit us, not be a victim of it. We talked about that last week. When you do that, though, you have an unshakable faith. When you realize that things in your life that happened to you really happened for you, right? For your good, for your future, that's when your faith is built. It's a mindset. Okay? That's unshakable faith. Actually, I'm going to tell you one more story with that because this is a good story. My whole life, all I wanted to do was play college football. Like, that was my life. That was my big goal, right? As a junior high and a high school kid. And I got to do that. So I went to the Naval Academy and I played. And what was really cool is, well, I was having a blast up there, and the coach that recruited me started to recruit my brother, who was 2 years younger than me. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, my brother's about to come up here. We're about to be in school together. We're going to play college football together. Like, this is crazy. This is more than I ever could have dreamed or desired. Well, last minute, my brother decides he's going to go play baseball in college. He was a great athlete. He had multiple options. And he goes and plays baseball. And I was devastated. I'm like, man, like, how could you do this? Why would you not want to come join us and do what we're doing? But he didn't come. Well, later that year, in one of our biggest games, in the Army Navy game, I blew out my ACL, I blew out my MCL, I blew out my PCL, and I blew out my meniscus. For those of you that don't know, that's every ligament that you have inside of your knee outside of your LCL. Every ligament was gone. And unbeknownst to me, I had a bad surgery. And then when I came back the next year, I couldn't play. And it was very clear that my college football days were over. Now, had my brother have come to the acad to come to play with me, even if I couldn't play, I still would have stayed. I would have stayed there in college. I would have been a part of the team, been an assistant coach, whatever it was, a GA, and been a part of the team because my brother was there. But my brother didn't come. Remember, it made me really angry. And I had to make a hard decision, and I made a decision that I was actually going to go home. That was it. I was done. I couldn't play anymore. I wasn't going to finish school there. I was going to go home and finish at school. Well, if that wouldn't have happened, the things that I were most angry about, my brother not coming to play with me, killing my dream, right? Killing my dream of living out my dream of playing college football. If those two things wouldn't have happened that I thought were my biggest dreams, I never would have met my wife, Joe. I came home and I met Joe. And through that, obviously, I've been married now for 17 years. We have two amazing kids. So it took some really hard things in my life to lead me to the road that I needed to be led to. In other words, those things didn't happen to me. I didn't get hurt. That didn't happen to me. That happened for me so God could send me back home so I could meet my beautiful beautiful bride. Does that make sense? It's mindset. That's how you have unshakable faith. All right. The end. The end for hungry. Now urgency. Now urgency. Listen, you can't get out of life alive. So live each day as it's your last one because one day you'll be right, right? Now urgency. Hungry people live with a sense of now urgency. Have you ever met those people always talk about one of these days? One of these days? Guys, one of these days means none of these days. Later means never. And tomorrow means forgotten. That's the truth. That's the truth. And that's the society I feel like we live in. Do you know those people that it's like they're always getting ready to get ready? Like it's just a constant, like they're just getting ready to get ready type deal, but they never actually do what they say they desire to do. They're just always in the get ready mode. That to me, that's the saddest life. I'll tell you another quick story. When we joined our prior company, it was, as many of you know, it was a company that was involved in hair care. My wife was a hairstylist, and she went to some of the biggest salon owners that she knew very well in our town and said, "Listen, this is radical. You need to get involved. You got to be a part." And they wanted nothing to do with it, right? And here's what they told her. You ready? They said, "I tell you what, after you make $1 million from that business, why don't you come back and see me?" She goes, "Okay." Well, it didn't happen in 6 months like Kamina, but 16 months later, we made $1 million. And she goes back to them. She goes, "All right, I made a million. Are you ready?" And they're like, "What?" She's like, "Yes, yes." Proves it, shows them we just made $1 million in our first 16 months in this business. Let's go. I'm telling you, you have, because they were tired of what they were doing. They wanted another source of income, right? Like you have to do this. What'd they say? Yeah, should have joined last year. Now it's too late. How many times have you heard that? Should have joined last year. That's too late. You know what's sad though is my wife went back to them about every 6 months and very kindly just nudged on them and gave them a little update of where we are. And we were able to make almost $6 million in 7 years in that company. And she went back to them every single time we made another one. And it's like, guys, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I'm telling you. So do you understand that they thought they were left behind. At first, they thought it was dumb. Then they thought they were left behind. And then every single, quite literally, $1 million later, they were always a million too late to never get started. They were always getting ready to get ready or thinking that it was too late. Guys, you got to have now urgency. It's now. It's now. No, it's not too late for you and your family. No, it's not too early. It's now. The desires on your heart are because God put them there today. He didn't put them there a year and a half ago or 10 years ago. It's about today, right? Now urgency. All right. The G, grow continuously. Grow continuously. Now listen to this. This might be the most important statement I say all day. You don't get out of life what you want. You get out of life what you are. Period. You don't get out of life what you want. You get out of life what you are. To have something you've never had before, you must become something you've never been before. Are you with me? We talked about this a lot this weekend in Destin. You want to know the number one thing to grow your business? The number one thing. How can I grow LifeWave and get a bigger business? Grow yourself. Grow yourself. No, 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 no. You're like, it's not about that. It's like, what do I actually say? Like, I have these people. Doesn't matter. Grow yourself. Do you know what happens when you start to grow and you start to become a different, better version of yourself? You start to become someone you've never become before. By default, all of those details take care of themselves. All of a sudden, you're not asking how to talk to people or should you call them or should you do coffee or what should you do and how do you get them on a Zoom? You're not asking those things anymore because you've become someone that you've never become, and all those answers take care of themselves. And you know exactly what to say it, how to invite, when to bring people in. Are you with me? This business is a byproduct of you, of you. Every day we look in the mirror, it reflects what? A reflection of us. When you look in that mirror and you see yourself, see your business. Your business will never outgrow you. So grow continuously. I'll also remind you of this. Everything worthwhile is uphill. Everything. John Maxwell, right? He stood on stage many a times and just put his arm up. Easy things in life aren't even worth having. They're not even worth it. Everything in life is uphill, meaning you have to grow and become better in order to go uphill to get those dreams that you want. You know, my son, he was playing a basketball game about 2 years ago, and it was just a little rec league, and I was coaching him, and he was up. He had a friend come into town the night before, and he was up really late. And I told him, I said, "Bub, you better go to bed early. Like we got an early game tomorrow. You better go to bed early." Well, he didn't, so he goes to bed late. We have to leave early, so he gets up. He's kind of whatever. Doesn't eat breakfast. Has no water in him. Excuse me. We get to the game, and no one can bring the ball up the court except for Ryder, my son, on our team. That's just how it was at the time. And they had a defender that was giving him hell. Like it was tough, right? And Ryder literally was fighting every single possession just to get the ball up the court. And then basically what he had to do was he had to go create some screens for himself and go score, or we didn't score. Well, there comes a point in the third quarter. Actually, it's closer to, I guess, maybe the fourth quarter, where Ryder is so tired, so gassed, no food, no water, up late, like just gassed, that he's like, Dad, Dad, Dad. And I'm hollering at him on the court. I said, I'm not taking you out. Like, I take you out, we lose. I think we had about 5 minutes left. I take you out, we lose. Figure it out. Figure it out. Well, it gets to a point, it gets so bad that he's like hunched over, breathing. He starts to cry. He's crying, dribbling the ball, trying to he's 11 years old, trying to bring the ball up the court. He's crying. This kid's all over him, he's bringing the other coach, who I know, starts yelling at me, call timeout. Oh my, you're going to kill your kid. Like, call timeout. I start yelling back. I go, I'm not calling timeout. Like, I had one left. I had to save it. So he calls timeout. He calls timeout and tells Ryder to go rest. Ryder, go sit down. You got to go rest. And again, he knows us, right? And I go, Ryder, come here. I go, you ain't resting. Stay right here on the court. We have 30 seconds. You will finish this game. I was like, Bub, listen to me. If you come out, we lose. You got 5 minutes left. You got to suck it up. You got to find another level of yourself, and you got to suck it up, and you got to figure this thing out. Do you understand me? He's crying. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, what happened was Ryder found another level and figured it out, and he ended up getting a little spurt of energy the last couple minutes. We ended up winning by 3 because I didn't take him out. And let me tell you what happened after that game. Ryder found a new sense of confidence that he didn't have before. Ryder got introduced, listen to me, to the next version of himself. He grew and met the next best version of himself. Does that make sense? Without that, I could have pulled him out. He could have sat on the bench. He could have rested. Sure, it's just an intramural game. We could have lost. No big deal, right? No, huge deal. He would have never met the next version of himself with that. And I'll tell you this, no one outworks my son. No one outworks him But you know when it really started, when he really went to the another level to where he can push himself in his bedroom doing pull-ups and push-ups and sit-ups to a point of exhaustion and almost puking by himself? No one does that, right? You know when that changed for him? That game. That game. He realized he was capable of something he didn't know he was capable of, and now he pushes himself like that all the time. He is growing continuously. Guys, when's the last time you grew like that? When's the last time that it would have been real easy, real reasonable, and maybe even the smartest move to just maybe calm down a little bit? Maybe you're working a little hard, you really need to stop. Maybe you really, you can't go on this trip or go talk to this person or go have that meeting. Like you've got other things that really just make more sense to take care of. I want to encourage you, do something to put yourself in a situation that you can't get out of unless you meet the next version of yourself. That's how you grow. That's how you grow. All right, two more. The R, relationship impact. Relationships fall into one of two categories: nourishing relationships that bring out the best in you, or toxic relationships that drain out the best in you. Hungry people are always asking themselves, who can I count on and who should I count on? Guys, environment trumps everything. Everything. My nephew right now is he's a 20-year-old young entrepreneur, but he's working for a company right now as he's about to launch his business, and it's an incredibly toxic environment. And what I've seen over the last 9 months is I've been casually encouraging him, hey, I think it's time you need to leave this company. Like, but he's loyal and he feels like I owe him a commitment. I'm like, son, you don't owe anyone a commitment outside of yourself first, right? This is a toxic environment and you need to get out. I've seen his attitude change, not for the better, not for the better over the last 9 months. So I told him a story yesterday, actually. I sent him a video while he was at work because he was on my heart. And here's what I told him, and this is a true story. In Vietnam, about 65% of our troops, they estimated, were addicted to opioids, to hard drugs. It was prevalent in Vietnam. And we all know how that war went. It wasn't a good thing, wasn't a good environment, and they were addicted. So our government is incredibly worried when we bring troops home, they're going to bring this drug addiction back. They're going to start ruining their lives, their families, and they're going to bring it into the US. So they try to set up some programs and some things to get ready for our troops coming back. And you know what's so fascinating is that even though 65% of our troops were quite literally addicted to hard drugs like that, when they came back home, only 5% ever used a single other time. Think about that. These are some of the hardest drugs in the world to say no to. We all know the stories about what happens when you get addicted to them. They just fly home and all of a sudden only 5% ever use again. Environment trumps everything. Pulled them out of that environment, put them back in the environment that they needed to be in with their families here in the States, and it trumped everything, even the most addictive substances that mankind knows. Guys, environment matters. If you're trying to build this business and you got a lot of negative people speaking life into you, you're not going to get very far. You have to find a way to limit those people and to bring other people into your life that create a better environment. Yes, that can be done 4 or 5 days a week on these Zoom calls, and I hope that we're a really good environment for you, right? I hope that we are. But also, you got to do a good job, right, of having an environment around you on a daily basis that is supporting you for the dreams and desires of your heart. You have to. And you have to guard your heart, guys. Proverbs 4:23, above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. If you're not guarding your heart, meaning guarding the way that people are speaking to you or not speaking to you or encouraging you or not encouraging you, right? It's not a good thing. So your environment, it matters. Lastly, you ready? The why. Yes, Lord. Hungry people speak to a, let me back up. Hunger speaks to a calling deep within. Here's the deal. You got greatness that's waiting for you inside of you. It's waiting right now. It's also just waiting for permission to be unleashed. That's the reality. Hungry people understand that their greatness is unleashed by saying, Yes, Lord. Again, I've already said this. I believe that the dreams and the desires of your heart are not from you. I believe that you were created and your creator put them in there, right? The moment you acknowledge that and go, like, guess what? It's okay to chase this. I'm not selfish to try to go build this business big, right? So I can, yes, impact a lot of people. So I can, yes, make a lot of money. So I can, yes, live the life that I want to live. Until you understand that and say yes, it's very hard to believe it's possible. And then here's what happens. Here's exactly what happens. If you suppress that and you don't think you're worthy of that, or you think it's selfish or whatever it is, if you suppress that feeling, do you know what happens? It dwindles. And it becomes a lot harder to then dream again and have desires again. And the next time you feel a little something inside of you, you're like, oh man, that sounds, I think maybe I should maybe try to pursue this or that or whatever. It's harder to awaken it inside of you. Guys, feed the flame. Feed the flame. The desires are there for a reason. Go get them, right? You know what money does? Money makes you more of what you are. You're a great person that loves people, that loves your family, that's always looking to help and serve. Money is a bigger tool that you had to go do all of that. Obviously, if you're a jerk, money will expose that too. But I don't believe that anybody on this call is a jerk. I believe you're a great person looking to help, love, and serve you, yourself, and your family, right? Money just exposes that. That's all it is. It's just a tool. It is okay to go run after your dreams. Because here's what happens. You're either going to say no to them and you're going to live what I call a life by default, or you're going to say yes to them and you're going to live a life by design. And take it from me, who's experienced both in my life, a life by default is my equivalent to hell on earth. And a life by design is my equivalent to heaven on earth. No, it ain't nowhere close to heaven, but here by design, you live a life by design, you chase after your dreams, God blesses you, you in turn bless other people. Guys, that's the best way I know to live. It's the best way. So, that's all I had. Those are my hungry slides. I am very, very, as always, humble and honored to be able to speak to you guys. And now I'm going to turn it over and open it up to questions. And Norma, you're going to make me cry if you keep crying. So, anybody that wants to, please raise your hand or unmute or throw a question in the chat and share what's on your heart. We're here to just share together. Yes, ma'am, Norma. Can we unmute Norma? Let's see. There you go.
I almost didn't hop on to this call today
Mhm.
because I hopped on so many calls yesterday. I'm like, okay, I'm glad I did
Mhm.
because that why at the end, everything else, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm good with the H, the U, the N, but that why was what I needed.
Mhm.
I needed to feel that I was worthy of pursuing and having because the money part was like, no, it's not about the money. It's about helping people. I do want to do X, Y, and Z, but it's not about the money. And it's not about the money, but I can't do everything else without it.
Mhm.
And when you said that it just brings out who you are, I'm like, yes, I can say yes, I am worthy. I am worthy of pursuing everything else. And the money is just going to help me with everything else. So that really, like, that's what I needed because I've been at this for 2.5 years with the spikes and then the down. And then I'm like, okay, I needed to hear that today, Kyle. So thank you very much.
Oh, amen. Norma, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being bold enough to share that. You know what I think, to be honest with you, I think what you just said is the number one reason people fail in this business. Because most people don't believe they're worthy. Therefore, they're of course not capable because they're not even worthy, right? So how could you be capable of something you're not even worthy of? Are you with me? And so I think that is why I'm so big on identity. That's why I'm so big on worth. That's why I'm so big on you becoming the best version of yourself and understanding, right? I mean, you're created by design. You're created on purpose. You're created for a purpose. And so, yeah, as soon as you can let that sink into your heart, you're gonna skyrocket, Norma. You're gonna blow the lid off. That's what happens. Moment you accept that deep down, things blow up. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Anybody else want to share?
I'll share.
You got it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't have my video isn't working, but I just wanted to say a year ago I went to Destin and kind of solidified this business for me because of something that you had said, Kyle, before even going to Destin last year was getting into the environment. When you get into, and just like what you talked about today, getting into the environment around the right people, it just it puts you in this situation where you can envision yourself and you can dream. And that kind of started my being all in last year. Well, then we just got back from Destin yesterday or a couple days ago, and being around you guys again and being in that environment, I cannot stress enough how people need to get to those places because it just catapulted us. My husband as well. He wasn't as completely on board last year, but he got on right when we got back. He's like, we're doing this. And today, you know what? I shared with 5 people this morning already. It's just like it just fires you up. It's so exciting. And you just start doing it and you start believing in yourself and you start fulfilling your dreams. And we both are on the same page. And so I just want to encourage everybody, like, there's no excuses. You have to get to these events. It'll change everything for you and change the trajectory of your future.
Tracy, thank
So
you for
that's,
sharing that. It
yes,
does.
you're welcome.
It does. And not just for any single person, like me included, Atkins included, right? Like everyone, Sarah and Devin included, we all talk about that, how these events are the lifeblood of our business, and without them, we slowly die. It's just human nature. And so, yeah, environment is a big deal. It's a real big deal.
Yeah, and I just want to say Kyle and Joey and Jay and Jimena um and you and yeah, you enjoy. It's just unbelievable the leadership that we have, and people don't really realize maybe what we have in this. And so I just want to say I am the reason why I'm jumping on and just going for it is because of the amazing leadership and all the things you guys provide for us to be successful, and you want us to be successful. And so it's just awesome to link arms and just such humility and humbleness and people wanting to serve, servant leadership. And that's what I want to be a part of. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate that. You and your husband are the same way. I appreciate that very much. Servant leadership. Anybody else? I don't want to cut us off too soon if there's somebody that wants to speak, but if not, we'll go. I'll give it a couple seconds.
Hi,
All right.
Kyle.
Oh, yes, go.
Em, bueno, gracias por todo lo que
Well,
hicieron
first of
en
all,
Destin.
thank you
De
for
verdad que
everything that you
aprendí
did in
muchísimas cosas
Destin.
que no
It
puedo encender la
was
cámara en
a
este
lot of
momento.
fun. I'm sorry I cannot turn on my camera at this moment,
Pero me encantó, o sea,
but
desde desde la
I loved it.
semana anterior has
Since
trabajado
the
mucho en
week
mí
before,
y te lo
I was
agradezco
working a
mucho.
lot on my mindset, and I want to tell
El,
everyone
el evento fue
I
espectacular
appreciate having been at
y
that
hoy
spectacular
lo que
event.
más
And
me
today,
llevo es volver al
what
sentido de urgencia,
I take more with me is
trabajar
going
en
back to the sense of
autoconfianza.
urgency,
Creo que eso
working
lo
on
es
my
todo.
self-esteem. I think that's everything.
Asegurarme y ponerme
And
la nueva
making
creencia
sure and
de que
having
el
the new
dinero es una
belief that
herramienta
money
como
is a
cualquier otra,
tool just like
solamente
any
para
other,
usarla
only to be
y poder
used
potenciar lo que
and to
nosotros
be
ya
able
somos.
to
Eso me lo llevo en mi corazón
enhance what
porque
we
muchas
already are.
veces
That's just something that I'm taking with me
realmente
in my
pues tú
heart because
inviertes
many
en
times they've told me,
cosas
why
y
do you
quizás
invest in
no las
things? And
haces
maybe you don't
y
see the
inviertes
return
dinero y
on
esto,
your
pero yo me
investing
llevo
money,
urgencia que
and but
todo
they
lo
don't
que yo he
realize
invertido
that
en mí
everything that I've
es para
invested in
mejorarme yo
myself
misma
is
y
to
que en
improve
algún
myself,
punto,
and that
como
at
lo ha hecho
some
LifeWave,
point, just
conecte
like LifeWave
con
has done
ese propósito
with that
o
purpose,
ese propósito
or yes, that
de lo que va
purpose
conmigo, que es el bienestar.
of what
Entonces, cuando
goes
todo
with
ya
me,
hace
which is
clic,
well-being.
como
So
que
when
todo
everything
se
clicks,
une, es como que ya, esta
is
es la
when
dirección correcta.
I
Y
know
ahí es
I'm in
donde
the
ya me voy a
correct
sentir mejor y donde ya todo lo que yo he
path,
trabajado
and
dentro
that's
de
when I'm going
mí
to
va a
feel
poder
better, and
salir.
everything that I've
Entonces,
worked inside me is going to be reflected outside
definitivamente,
me.
donde
So
nosotros y con las personas que
definitely
nos rodeamos
where we
hace la
are and
diferencia. O
who
sea,
we're
yo siempre
surrounded
me quiero
with
sentir
makes a difference.
rodeada
I
de
always
las
want to feel
personas con las que
surrounded
estuve en
by the
Destin,
people that
que
I was
hablemos
with in
de
Destin,
negocios, de
that we were speaking
crecimiento, de
about business,
familia,
about growth, about
de
family,
autoconfianza,
about
de que somos
self-esteem,
suficientes,
about
de
being
que
enough,
podemos hacerlo,
about being able to reach our goals. And that's something that warms my heart. And that's something that I want to show my team and work with them on that too. And what I'm taking with me more than any other thing is to not be afraid to be in environments that require more from me to be able to experiment a new level, a challenge. So that way I can be capable of achieving more than what I have. So thank you for the example of your son. All this truly helps us a lot. So thank you 1,000 times.
Oh man, that's so sweet. Thank you. And so well said. I appreciate you sharing that because, a people that some people don't understand, but the greatest investment you can ever make is in yourself. And so, yeah, when you spend money to go to a trip like that to invest in yourself, that is the greatest investment. That you're going to have the biggest return on that investment than anything else. And so I'm so excited to hear that you're so ready to run and excited and that it was awesome. Oh, it warms my heart. So I appreciate it.
Gracias, manejamos en carro
Thank you.
9 horas
We drove 9 hours together,
y,
and
y fue espectacular. O
it
sea, fue
was
parte
spectacular.
de eso.
It
O
was
sea,
part of
yo
it.
cuando estuve manejando con una de
When I
mis
was
personas y
driving with
fuimos
a
allá,
woman from my team, we
pensé
were
que
on our
estaba
way,
2, 3 horas. O sea,
and
de verdad que
it felt like
llegamos
2 or
con
3
energía,
hours.
todo
We
súper bien.
reached our
Y yo creo que he
destination
gastado
full of
mucho más
energy.
dinero
Everything
de lo
was
que hubiera
great, and I
gastado ese
think
fin
I
de
spent
semana
much
y
more
fue muy
money than in
especial.
that weekend
No solamente
in
por la
any other thing. And
información,
it was so special,
sino
not
por las
only due to the
personas
information
tan
that we received, but
maravillosas y
also
con el
for the
propósito que
loving
tienen
people and the
todos.
purpose
O
that
sea, es
everyone
la
has.
conexión de
It's
todos,
that
esa vibra
connection that we
bonita
all have. That is
de
when
esto quiero
one
tener
says,
más.
I want to have more of
Fue
that.
económico y fue
It was
súper casual.
financial and it was super
O
casual,
sea, súper familiar.
super
Todos con una familia.
family
Entonces, me
environment.
encantó.
Like we were all a family.
Ojalá lo
So
pudiéramos
I
hacer
loved
cada
it
2,
and I
o
would
sea,
love it if we
cada
could do it
semana.
every 6 months at
Pero
least.
sí, hace gran
But yes,
diferencia,
it
hace
makes a
gran
big difference.
diferencia.
It makes a
Yeah,
big
hace gran
difference.
diferencia de verdad
And
esto porque es como
it's
unirnos en
like
una misma mentalidad,
uniting
todos en
with
un
the
mismo
same
propósito,
mindset,
en
with
un
the same
camino
purpose, on the same
similar y
path, which
todos
is similar
nos,
to
nos
everyone's,
complementamos. Y
and we
gracias
complement
de
each other.
verdad.
So thank you, thank you.
No, you're so welcome, and you might get your wish. We just might be doing it a little bit more often. So hang with us as we work through things. So, oh, it's so good. Guys, I love y'all. Thank you for allowing me to take half an hour on a Thursday. Thank you so much for your participation, for your cameras on, for your comments. It means the world. And so, y'all have an amazing Thursday. Go out and win the day, and can't wait to talk again soon. Bye, guys.